My beloved child, pause and feel the quiet shift around you. Do not rush past this moment. Do not let your mind run ahead trying to explain what your spirit is already sensing. Something you stopped expecting has started moving again. Something you laid down because it hurt too much to keep holding has been lifted by my hand. Something you thought had faded into the distance has entered the room again, not as an echo of disappointment, but as a living reminder that nothing surrendered to me was ever lost. The prayer you forgot was never forgotten by me. When your memory released it, my mercy kept it. When your heart became too tired to speak about it, my throne still held record of it. When you stopped asking because the silence felt too heavy, I did not dismiss your request, and I did not misplace your tears. I guarded what you prayed. I covered it. I preserved it in a place no delay could corrupt, no enemy could steal, and no season of weariness could cancel. Search your memory gently, my child, not with pressure, not with fear, not with the accusation that you should have believed harder or waited better. Let tenderness walk you backward for a moment. There was a whispered prayer you released when no one else could hear you. There was a tearful request that trembled from your lips when your voice was breaking. There was a dream you placed in my hands, because carrying it began to feel like carrying pain. You did not abandon it because you were faithless. You released it because you were wounded, and I understood. Tonight is not just another night. This moment is a marked threshold. Heaven is bringing an old cry back into motion, not by accident, not by coincidence, not because you suddenly remembered it, but because my appointed time has begun to touch what I have been protecting. The halls of the unseen have already responded to a prayer. Your natural mind stopped rehearsing, and now the movement is coming closer to your life. So breathe, beloved. Let the atmosphere settle around you. If this word is already stirring a memory in your spirit, like this video, subscribe for more timely messages, and comment, "My forgotten prayer is moving toward me," as an act of faith before the full word unfolds. Because I tell you now with the authority of my love, the prayer you stopped remembering was never lost in heaven. It was kept for this hour. I heard it when your voice was breaking, my child. I heard the prayer before it became language. I heard the ache before your lips could shape the words. I heard the trembling place inside you where hope and fear were standing so close together that you could hardly tell which one was speaking. You thought you were only whispering into an empty room, but I was near. You thought your tears were falling without witness, but I was gathering them. You thought the silence around you meant heaven was distant, but I was leaning close to the sound your heart was making. I heard you when no one answered. I saw you when no one asked. I held what you could not explain. I watched the way you tried to be strong in front of people who never knew how deeply that prayer had cost you. I saw you wipe your face, steady your breath, and keep moving while something inside you was still kneeling before me. I saw the nights when you did not know whether to ask again or let it go. I saw the mornings when you carried disappointment quietly because you did not have the strength to explain one more time why it still mattered. Beloved, I did not only hear the words you prayed, I understood the wound beneath them. I understood why that request came with tears. I understood why your voice cracked. I understood the loneliness wrapped around it, the exhaustion hidden inside it, the quiet desperation that made you say, "Lord, if you do not move, I do not know how this will change." You did not have to make the prayer sound beautiful for me to receive it. You did not have to organize your sentences. You did not have to prove your faith by hiding your pain. Your broken whisper reached me fully. And when the answer did not come the way you expected, I saw what happened inside you. I saw the disappointment you tried not to call disappointment. I saw the questions you were afraid to admit. I saw how you kept loving me, but you stopped bringing that one thing up because silence felt too heavy to keep carrying. You buried it, not because you stopped believing in me, but because touching it again hurt too much. You placed it somewhere deep and quiet within you, hoping that if you did not look at it, it would stop aching. Hear me clearly tonight. I did not punish you for growing tired. I did not turn away because your hope became weary. I did not reject the prayer because you could no longer repeat it with the same fire. A wounded prayer is not a faithless prayer. A tired heart is not a rejected heart. A silence that comes from pain is not rebellion in my eyes. I knew the difference between unbelief and exhaustion. I knew the difference between surrender and despair. I knew the difference between you letting go because you did not care and you letting go because you could not keep bleeding over the same place. Heaven recorded more than your request. Heaven recorded the sincerity of it. Heaven recorded the purity of the need. Heaven recorded the pain behind the words, the longing beneath the tears, the innocence of the dream before delay touched it. My angels did not write down only what you asked for. They witnessed the condition of the heart that asked. They saw that you were not asking from greed. You were asking from longing. You were not reaching from pride. You were reaching from need. You were not trying to control me. You were trying to survive the place where your heart felt unanswered. So do not be ashamed of the prayer that became difficult to remember. Do not accuse yourself because you stopped speaking about it. I am not standing over that memory with condemnation. I am standing over it with compassion. I am not saying, "Why did you forget?" I am saying, "I remember. I remember the room. I remember the hour. I remember the tears on your face. I remember the sound of your breath between words. I remember the part of you that still trusted me even while your heart was trembling. And I, your Jesus, want you to know this with certainty. Your prayer was never too broken for me to understand. Your voice was never too weak for heaven to hear. Your ache was never too hidden for my love to reach. When you could only cry, I understood. When you could only sit in silence, I understood. When all you could say was my name, I understood. And what I understood, I preserved. What you called silence was not absence, my child. What you called delay was not denial. What you thought was heaven turning away was heaven bending low over something too precious to release before its appointed hour. I was not ignoring you. I was preserving you. I was preserving the answer. I was preserving the meaning of the promise, so that when it arrived, it would not come damaged by the wrong hands, drained by the wrong season, or distorted by the wrong atmosphere. You saw a closed door and thought I had refused you. I saw a protected entrance that needed to remain sealed until the environment around it was safe. You saw a scroll that would not open and wondered if your name had been erased. I saw a sealed scroll, written in mercy, guarded by authority, held until the moment when the words inside it could be fulfilled without being interrupted. You saw a seed covered in darkness and thought nothing was happening. I saw roots forming where no eye could applaud them. I saw life being protected beneath the soil until it was strong enough to break through. Beloved, some answers cannot be released into immature spaces. Some blessings cannot be placed in the hands of people who would trample what is holy. Some doors cannot open while the wrong voices are still close enough to misdirect you. Some relationships, opportunities, resources, and divine appointments must be hidden until the pressure around you changes, until the motives around you are exposed, until your own heart is healed enough to receive without clinging, fearing, proving, or begging. This is why I waited, not because your prayer lacked value, but because it carried too much value to be handled carelessly. I did not postpone it because it was small. I guarded it because it was sacred. I did not withhold it because I was reluctant to bless you. I covered it because I knew what premature exposure would have done. The wrong people would have used it against you. The wrong timing would have made it feel like a burden instead of a gift. The wrong pressure would have caused you to receive with anxiety instead of peace. And the version of you who first prayed it, precious as you were to me, still needed healing before you could hold the answer without losing yourself inside it. While you thought nothing was moving, I was aligning names. While you thought the heavens were quiet, I was preparing doors. While you thought the prayer had fallen into the ground and disappeared, I was sending resources toward their assigned place. I was arranging conversations you have not yet heard. I was shifting hearts that have not yet spoken. I was moving people out of the way who would have delayed what they pretended to support. I was bringing the right witnesses, the right helpers, the right timing, the right instruction, the right favor, and the right peace into position. Do not mistake hidden movement for inactivity. Do not mistake covered blessing for canceled blessing. Do not mistake my restraint for rejection. A surgeon is not absent because his hands are careful. A gardener is not cruel because he waits for the seed to mature. An author is not finished with the story because one chapter becomes quiet. I was working in the quiet. I was writing beneath the surface. I was protecting the page where your answered prayer would appear. Hear me tonight with a softened heart. The silence had purpose. The delay had mercy inside it. The waiting was not empty. It was filled with preservation, correction, protection, and preparation. I was not hiding from you. I was hiding something for you. I was not keeping the answer away because I did not care. I was keeping it covered because I cared too deeply to let it arrive before it could bless you fully. And now, my child, the covered seed has not died. The protected door has not vanished. The sealed scroll has not been destroyed. The blessing, hidden from premature hands, is still alive in my keeping. What I preserved, I intend to reveal. What I guarded, I intend to release. What I delayed with love. The delay was not me ignoring you. It was me protecting what I always intended to answer. Now hear me, my child. The old cry has been assigned a new moment. It is no longer lying in the place where you first released it. It is no longer sitting beside the version of you who wept, wondered, waited, and slowly learned how to surrender. I have lifted that prayer out of yesterday. I have called it forward. I have spoken over it with authority, and what once seemed buried in another season has now been released into this one. The answer is not trapped in the past. The answer is not chained to the day you first asked. The answer is not locked inside the memory of disappointment. I am the God who holds time in my hands, and I know how to bring an old cry into a new hour without losing one tear, one detail, one holy intention, or one hidden meaning. What you prayed then, I am breathing on now. What you could not understand then, I am positioning now. What seemed motionless then has movement around it now. This is why your spirit has been feeling stirred in ways your mind cannot explain. This is why certain memories have begun rising again. This is why a small place inside you has started to wonder, could it still happen? Could God still remember? Could that door still open? Beloved, that wondering did not begin in your emotions. It began because heaven moved close to an old promise, and your spirit felt the shadow of its arrival. The shift is not waiting to begin. It has already started beneath the surface. I have placed motion around what once looked still. I have released instruction into places you have not seen. I have sent whispers into rooms you have not entered. I have rearranged schedules, interrupted delays, redirected conversations, and opened narrow pathways that were sealed until now. You do not have to see every step for it to be real. You do not have to understand every movement for it to be mine. My angels have been assigned to this fulfillment. They are not wandering without direction. They are carrying orders from my throne. They are moving with keys, with timing, with protection, with precision. They are guarding the conversations that must happen. They are standing over the doors that must open. They are placing the right keys into the right hands, stirring the right people at the right hour, and preventing the wrong voices from touching what I have marked for you. This is not a general blessing floating through the air, hoping to land somewhere. This carries your name. It carries your history. It carries the sound of the night you prayed through tears. It carries the weight of your waiting, the record of your surrender, the fragrance of your endurance, and the appointed timing I wrote before you ever understood why the delay had to last as long as it did. I did not release a vague answer. I released an assigned answer. So do not look at your present season and call it empty. Do not judge the movement by what your eyes can measure today. Beneath the visible surface, I am turning pages. I am moving pieces. I am calling names. I am setting up divine intersections that will look sudden to you, but were never sudden to me. What appears to arrive quickly has been prepared carefully. What seems to happen in one moment has been carried through many hidden moments by my faithful hand. And I tell you tonight with certainty, the old cry has entered its new appointment. The prayer you thought belonged only to a painful memory has been summoned into your now. The answer has begun traveling through circumstances you cannot yet see, but it is moving. It is not lost. It is not late. It is not confused. It knows where it has been sent because I have sent it. Keep breathing, beloved. Stay tender. Stay open. Do not chase what I have already commanded to come. Do not strive to force what I am guiding with peace. The appointed time is not only approaching, it has begun to unfold. What I remembered, I have released. What I preserved, I have awakened. What you thought was behind you is now moving toward you, carrying my timing, my authority, my mercy, and your name. You forgot it because I was healing you, my child. You stopped holding it in the front of your mind because my mercy was giving your heart room to breathe. If I had allowed you to stare at that prayer every day with the same ache, the same pressure, the same unanswered questions, it would have worn places in you that I was trying to restore, so I let it grow quiet. I let the memory soften. I let your hands unclench. I did not erase the prayer from heaven. I simply lifted the weight of constant expectation from your soul. Beloved, surrender was not your failure. It was trust taking a tired form. You placed it down because your heart needed rest, and I did not condemn you for needing rest. I did not look at your lowered hands and call you faithless. I saw a child who had carried longing for a long time. I saw a heart that had waited through silence, hoped through disappointment, and loved me even when the answer did not arrive. When you said, "Lord, I cannot keep holding this the same way," I did not turn away from you. I came closer. I received what you placed down, and I held you while you learned how to live without being ruled by the ache. There were seasons when remembering it would have reopened what I was closing with tenderness. There were moments when thinking about it again would have pulled you back into striving, comparison, fear, and grief. So, I covered the memory. I quieted the urgency. I taught you how to wake up without checking the door every morning. I taught you how to breathe without needing immediate proof. I taught you how to love me without making the answer the measure of my goodness. That was not delay alone. That was restoration. While the prayer seemed buried, I was rebuilding you. I was rebuilding your identity in places where disappointment had tried to name you. I was teaching you peace without proof, faith without visible evidence, and closeness without immediate reward. I was showing you that you were still chosen before the door opened, still loved before the promise arrived, still held before the circumstances changed. I was removing the fear that said you could not be whole unless that one thing happened. I was healing the part of you that had begun to believe the answer would prove your worth. Hear me clearly tonight. You are not the same one who first prayed. The version of you who whispered that prayer in pain was precious to me, but the version of you standing now has been formed by endurance. You have gained capacity. You have gained discernment. You have gained steadiness. You have learned to recognize peace. You have learned to release what is not from me. You have learned that not every open door is holy, and not every delay is rejection. The waiting did not make you weaker. It made your spirit deeper. The hidden years did not empty you. They purified you. This is why the answer is moving now. Not because I finally remembered, but because I have healed the one who will receive it. I did not want the blessing to destroy you, define you, consume you, or make you proud. I did not want you to cling to it as though it were your savior. I did not want you to lose your peace trying to protect what only my hand can sustain. So before I released the thing you prayed for, I restored the heart that prayed. Before I opened the door, I strengthened the one who would walk through it. Before I placed the answer in your hands, I taught your hands how to remain open. Now you can receive without worshiping the gift. You can rejoice without losing your center. You can steward without striving. You can walk into fulfillment with humility, clarity, and peace. What once might have overwhelmed you will now meet a heart made ready by my love. So do not grieve the forgetting, beloved. It was mercy. Do not shame the surrender. It was trust. Do not despise the quiet years. They were not empty years. They were healing years. I was not only preparing the answer for you, I was preparing you for the answer. And now, because I have touched the wound beneath the request, what I preserved can come forward without breaking the one I love. So now, my child, do not pick up anxiety again as the answer begins to move. Do not return to the old posture of forcing, searching, proving, managing, or trying to make the promise happen by the strength of your own hands. I did not heal you from striving so you could meet fulfillment with fear. I did not teach your heart to rest so you could reopen the wound by chasing signs. I am not asking you to manipulate people. I am not asking you to knock on every door in panic. I am not asking you to rehearse old conversations, revive old pressure, or stand outside a closed place begging for what I have already commanded to come. Open your hands, beloved. Steady your breath. Guard your peace like holy ground. What is coming now does not require the frantic version of you. It requires the surrendered one. It requires the healed one. It requires the child who has learned that my timing is not threatened by delay, and my power is not strengthened by your panic. Let your shoulders lower. Let your spirit become still. Let the anxious noise fall away. I am bringing what I have spoken. I am guiding what I have released. I am escorting what I have preserved. You do not have to drag it into place. This answer will not arrive because you begged harder. It will not arrive because you lost sleep trying to convince heaven. It will not arrive because you performed perfectly, prayed louder, or proved that you deserved it. It will arrive because heaven appointed its release. It will arrive because the sealed hour has opened. It will arrive because I have spoken over the old cry and commanded it into your now. There is a difference between faith and fear wearing religious language. Faith rests in my authority. Fear tries to control what only I can govern, and in this season, I am calling you out of control and into trust. Do not try to decide too quickly what the answer must look like. Do not place my fulfillment inside the narrow frame of your old expectation. I am faithful to the prayer, but I am not limited to the form you first imagined. It may come through an unexpected person. It may come through a delayed opportunity that suddenly opens with peace. It may come through a restored connection, but healed, humbled, purified, and no longer carrying the weight it once carried. It may come through a new door that does not look like your original request but carries the same holy purpose. It may begin as a quiet confirmation, a small invitation, a brief conversation, a soft nudge, or a simple inward knowing that says, "Pay attention, my child. This is where I am moving." Do not despise the small beginning. What looks small at first may be the first sound of the full answer approaching. A cloud the size of a hand can carry the announcement of rain. A sentence spoken in passing can become the key to a door. A name that returns to your attention can be part of a divine arrangement. A peace you feel without explanation can be my hand showing you where to stand. Be sensitive, but do not be suspicious. Be watchful, but do not be restless. Stay awake in your spirit without becoming anxious in your mind. My angels are not confused about the assignment. They are not asking you to run ahead and clear the path for them. They are moving with precision, carrying what belongs to this hour, guarding the timing, protecting the delivery, and keeping interference away from what I have marked with your name. Your part is not to control the miracle. Your part is to remain close to me. Your part is to keep your heart clean, your hands open, your ears tender, and your peace protected. Hear me tonight. Open hands will receive what clenched hands would mishandle. A steady heart will recognize what panic would overlook. A surrendered spirit will enter what striving would delay. This season requires open hands, not anxious control. So let me bring it, let me shape it, let me choose the way it enters. Let me surprise you with the wisdom of my timing. What I have already commanded does not need your fear to help it arrive. It needs your trust to welcome it. And now, my child, watch for the door that closed around it to open again. Not with panic, not with obsession, not with the restless searching of a heart afraid to miss me. Watch with peace. Watch with reverence. Watch with the quiet knowing that what I preserve, I know how to reveal. The place that seemed sealed, the opportunity that seemed finished, the relationship that seemed beyond repair, the provision that seemed impossible, the healing that seemed delayed, the family peace that seemed too far gone, the calling that seemed buried, the direction that seemed unclear, the marriage prayer, the purpose prayer, the freedom prayer, the prayer you stopped naming because it became too tender to touch. I have not forgotten where it was placed. I kept the key when you thought the door was gone. I held it in my hand when your eyes saw only a wall. I guarded it when others said it was over. I covered it when your heart could not bear another disappointment. You thought the closing was final, but I knew it was protective. You thought the silence behind the door meant nothing remained, but I was purifying what was inside. And now, by my hand, I am placing that key back into motion. Not because pressure forced me. Not because fear persuaded me. Not because you finally figured out how to make it happen. I am opening what I preserved because the appointed hour has touched the sealed place. The opening may come gently, beloved, but it will be undeniable. It may come as a message you did not expect. It may come as an invitation that carries peace. It may come as a softened heart where there used to be resistance. It may come as a released document, a cleared record, a debt lifted, a sudden idea, a conversation that changes the direction of your next step. It may come as a path becoming clear after months of confusion. It may come through a door that does not shout, but simply opens with the fragrance of order around it. My fulfillment does not need confusion to announce itself. What comes from me carries peace, timing, clarity, and holy restraint. Do not demand that the answer wear the exact shape of your first expectation. I heard the original prayer, but I also saw what that prayer needed to become. I refined it while it was hidden. I removed what would have harmed you. I separated the holy desire from the anxious attachment. I cleansed the request of fear, hurry, pride, and dependency. What returns may look different, but it will be safer. It will be fuller. It will be wiser. It will not only answer what you asked, it will answer what I knew your soul truly needed. So when the door begins to open, do not run into it with old fear. Do not drag yesterday's desperation into today's mercy. Let peace lead you. Let discernment walk beside you. Let my presence be the confirmation you trust more than excitement. If it is from me, it will not require you to abandon your peace to keep it. If it is from me, it will not pull you back into bondage. If it is from me, it will carry the fragrance of my order, not the noise of confusion. I am reopening what I preserved, but I am bringing it back in purified form. The door is not opening to return you to who you were. It is opening to reveal what my hand has made ready. Stand still enough to recognize it. Stay surrendered enough to receive it. Keep your hands open, your heart steady, and your eyes on me. The key is moving again, beloved, and the door that once closed around your prayer is beginning to open by my authority. And what I am bringing through this open door will restore more than the circumstance, my child. It will touch the place in you that wondered whether I had truly seen you. It will reach back into the rooms of your memory where disappointment tried to leave its fingerprints. It will speak to the younger version of you who prayed with trembling hope. It will speak to the tired version of you who stopped mentioning it because the ache became too deep. It will speak to the hidden places that learned how to survive without the answer, and it will say, I was there, I was faithful, I did not mishandle one tear. This fulfillment is not only about receiving what you desired, it is about restoring what delay tried to steal from your trust. It is about restoring courage where caution became a shield. It is about restoring faith where unanswered seasons made you quiet. It is about restoring identity where waiting made you wonder if you were overlooked, forgotten, or somehow less chosen than others. Beloved, when I answer, I do not only change the outside of your life, I heal the meaning you attach to the waiting. I remove the lie that said your tears were wasted. I break the agreement that said heaven was silent because heaven was indifferent. You will look back and understand things you could not understand while you were living them. You will remember how long it took, and instead of bitterness rising, wisdom will rise. You will see why certain doors had to stay closed. You will see why certain people could not remain close. You will see why the timing that frustrated you was actually protecting your peace, your purity, your future, and the very answer you begged me to release. What once felt like delay will become testimony. What once sounded like silence will become proof that I was working with precision. What once felt like loss will carry the fragrance of preservation. And when the answer comes, do not wear it as pride. Do not carry it as display. Do not use it to compare yourself with those who are still waiting. This is not a trophy for your ego. This is stewardship for your heart. This is not spotlight. This is sacred responsibility. I am not placing fulfillment in your hands so you can prove yourself to people who misunderstood your process. I am placing it there so gratitude can mature in you, so mercy can deepen in you, so your life can become a quiet witness that I do not forget what I have promised. You will steward this with humility. You will speak of it with reverence. You will remember the nights when nothing looked certain, and that memory will keep you gentle with others. You will not mock the waiting of another soul. You will not rush someone who is still in the hidden place. You will become a voice of patience, a carrier of encouragement, a living reminder that buried prayers are not dead prayers when they are held in my hands. And yes, beloved, share this with someone whose old prayer has gone quiet. Share it with the one who stopped asking because disappointment became too heavy. Share it with the one who smiles in public but has buried a holy desire in private. Share it not as noise, not as pressure, not as a demand for them to feel strong, but as a soft flame placed near their faith. Let them hear that forgotten prayers still move in my timing. Let them hear that delay does not mean denial. Let them hear that I know where every surrendered cry has been laid. For this fulfillment will not only restore your memory, it will awaken memory in others. It will remind your family that I am faithful. It will remind your heart that I am near. It will remind those watching that I do not waste surrendered pain. The answer will change circumstances, yes, but deeper than that, it will restore trust. And trust restored is one of the holiest miracles I can place back into the hands of my child. So now, my child, receive the prayer that is finally moving toward you. Do not stand at the edge of this moment with fear in your hands. Do not look at the movement of my faithfulness and ask whether you are allowed to hope again. I am the one who remembered. I am the one who protected. I am the one who prepared. And what I have carried through the silence is now moving in my appointed time, with my authority, under my covering, and toward the heart I have healed. Let us pray now, beloved. Father, I thank you for every old cry that was never lost before you. I thank you for every hidden tear that fell when no one understood the weight behind it. I thank you for every surrendered desire, every whispered request, every prayer spoken through a breaking voice, and every prayer your child became too tired to repeat. I thank you that heaven did not misplace what earth forgot. I thank you that silence was not abandonment, delay was not denial, and the quiet years were not empty. You were preserving, you were healing, you were preparing. You were holding what your child could no longer hold. And now, by my love and by my authority, I speak release over every forgotten prayer that aligns with my will. Let hope rise again, where disappointment buried expectation. Let divine timing settle the places that once rushed in fear. Let protected answers come forward without confusion, without counterfeit movement, without anxious striving, and without the weight of old pain attached to them. Let the answer carry peace. Let the door carry clarity. Let the invitation carry my presence. Let the fulfillment arrive with the fragrance of heaven, gentle but undeniable, quiet but powerful, humble but certain. I break fear off your heart now, my child. I break the fear that says if you hope again, you will be wounded again. I break the fear that says the answer will pass you by. I break the fear that says you are too late, too tired, too changed, too wounded, or too forgotten to receive what I have preserved. You are not disqualified by the years. You are not disqualified by the tears. You are not disqualified because you surrendered what became too heavy. I received that surrender as trust, and I am returning peace to the place where fear tried to build a throne. I break disappointment from the lens of your spirit. I break suspicion from your expectation. You will not reject my answer because it comes differently than you imagined. You will not dismiss my movement because it arrives quietly. You will not call holy what is familiar if I have purified you beyond it, and you will not call unfamiliar what is unsafe if my peace is upon it. You will recognize me. You will know the difference between pressure and presence, between confusion and confirmation, between old desperation and new mercy. I am sharpening your discernment, not to make you afraid, but to make you steady. So breathe now, beloved. Breathe like a child who is not carrying this alone. Open your hands like one who trusts the giver more than the gift. Stay close to me, not because you are afraid to lose the answer, but because closeness is where your heart remains whole. Walk through the opening door without striving. Do not run ahead of my peace. Do not lag behind because of old sorrow. Step when I lead. Pause when I say pause. Receive when I place it in your hands. What I give, I know how to sustain. What I restore, I know how to protect. What I release, I know how to complete. I declare over you now, the prayer you forgot is not dead. The cry you surrendered is not wasted. The desire you laid down is not beyond my reach. What I remembered, I protected. What I protected, I prepared. What I prepared, I am now moving in its appointed time. The answer will not come to pull you away from me. It will come to show you how near I have been. It will not come to feed pride. It will come to deepen gratitude. It will not come as a burden disguised as blessing. It will come with grace enough to carry it. Say this with faith, my child, not from pressure, but from trust. My forgotten prayer is moving toward me, and I will receive it in God's perfect timing. Say it again until your heart stops trembling beneath the memory. My forgotten prayer is moving toward me, and I will receive it in God's perfect timing. Let heaven hear your agreement. Let fear hear its boundary. Let disappointment hear that it no longer owns your expectation. Let your spirit rise into the truth that I have not forgotten you, I have not failed you, and I have not lost what you placed in my hands. And as this prayer settles over you, remain tender, remain humble, remain ready. The door is opening, the answer is moving, and the appointed time is unfolding by my hand. If this prayer touched a place you had stopped talking about, leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you. Like this video, share it with someone waiting on an old promise, and subscribe for more messages that help you recognize what God is doing in your season. Amen.